This ends with Joe Rogan screaming that the lightweight division just detonated and someone's legacy is about to be erased forever. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Because the moment Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje became real, everything cracked at once. And now we're stuck rewinding the tape, asking how a fun matchup turned into a career-ending landmine that nobody seems ready to talk about yet, not openly, not honestly, not without someone losing their mind on camera.
He's a dying breed of savage in the UFC, but I don't think he wins here. He was a collegiate wrestler, but he doesn't wrestle. And while I wouldn't want him wrestling in this matchup, I think the problem is he's going to need to defend some takedowns, and those aren't great either. He just got taken down by Rafael Fiziev. Paddy is absolutely tremendous. His takedowns aren't great, but his size, the Scouser chin, and the forward pressure might be enough to actually win a title. I am going to pick Paddy here. I hate how high his chin is in fights. When you're in boxing class, they teach you, a lot of them will put a tennis ball under your chin. You keep the tennis ball there, right? You bounce on your toes. They slide paper under your heels. Make sure you're on your toes. You could put a volleyball under Paddy Pimblett's chin. Fuck a tennis ball. You could put a volleyball. His head is straight up in the air. And somebody like Justin, who has no problem walking through fire and bombing away, that could be a problem. But Paddy has been very vocal. I am not dumb enough to get knocked out by Justin Gaethje. So
I'm still trying to process this because one second people are laughing at Paddy's hair and the next second Rogan is losing it. Like he's seen the ending already, and that should scare you. Because when Rogan reacts like that, it usually means something ugly is coming, something nobody wants to admit. And there's already whispers that one side of this fight knows more than they're letting on, and yeah, that part comes back later.
Hey, I gotta ask, with the striking, how do you rate his striking? Because Paddy's gonna be, he's known for sort of pushing the action, which makes this a really exciting fight. Do you believe against yourself he'll still be as aggressive, or do you think he's going to be trying to look to get this to the ground as quickly as possible?
Well, no, I mean, I think he's going to have to, I mean, obviously, I think he's going to fight smart. I think he's going to fight a smart fight. I think he fought a smart fight versus Chandler. I think in the first round, he was very calculated. He wasn't necessarily over-aggressive, and I expect him to fight like that against me. And yeah, I really got to control his feet. You know, when it comes to technique, he might not be there, but when it comes to like aggression and you know, tenacity, I mean, those are big variables when it comes to striking, and those are things that, you know, he does not lack in. And so I'm gonna need to still his momentum and still the confidence, because that's why he is so effective right now.
Okay. Paddy kind of got ahead of he did a little video where he was saying, you know, if I beat Justin, I know what you're all gonna say. He's the man's 37 and he's past his prime. Just like they said when I beat Bobby King Green, that he was old and he couldn't grapple or whatever he said. And he went through every fight. He said, they're always going to say that, you know? And they did say that, and they do say that, and they kind of might well say that if he beats Justin Gaethje. The reality is, though, Justin looked phenomenal against Rafael Fiziev. You know, and yeah, all right, he got knocked out against Max Holloway.
Here's the thing, everyone's dancing around like cowards. This isn't just Paddy calling out a legend or Gaethje taking another paycheck. This is a collision of timelines, pressure, and ego that the UFC may be rushed into because they needed chaos now, not later. And when promotions rush, fighters pay the price. And I keep hearing that one of these camps pushed for this fight for a very specific reason that hasn't surfaced yet, not publicly at least.
Поединок Гейджи Пимблета, расскажи, кто для тебя был бы предпочтительным соперником?
Предпочтительнее, да, они оба мешки, честно. Мешки, которым нужно также готовиться, как и на титульный бой, потому что в бою может быть все, но я вижу, что они не моего уровня. Из-за этого я и не дерусь там. Был бы я слабее, однозначно, я бы был бы там.
Изъявил желание выйти на замену, ну, в крайнем случае. Скажи, насколько это реально?
Ну, если кто-то из них травмируется, я выйду на бой. Буду держать себя в форме. UFC не делает бэкап на этот бой, но все возможно. Я просто буду тренироваться и держать себя в форме. Если они мне позвонят за неделю, за 2 недели, за 3 недели, я буду готов.
Justin Gaethje is being sold as the savage, the proven killer, the man who walks through fire, and that's true, but nobody wants to finish the sentence and admit that fire burns slower at 37, that reaction time fades in inches not miles, and that every war leaves residue. And if you think Paddy doesn't see that, you're lying to yourself, because he's talking like someone who smells blood, not respect, and that tone matters more than people think.
First time that I'm saying, how could you just?
So you agree with me?
Justin Gaethje and who's the other dude?
Paddy Pimblett.
What the fuck? We got Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
In the women's shit.
I better be Michael in this scenario.
You're gonna decide on January 24th who you are.
Undisputed title fight. Not only that, she's coming out of retirement.
The two greatest.
That, the history, the story, like there's an actual story here. I thought it was a no-brainer. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a mistake when someone told me before.
No-brainer.
Legit.
Easy no-brainer.
Now, can I ask, so it's great that he's here because I'm asking about a man, but he was there for all of this.
Yeah.
So
I was part of her recruiting trip. That's what she's talking about.
Yes. But were you there the day they sparred? Were you there the day they sparred?
I was, but I didn't get to see it though. But I was there because at the time.
Now, Paddy Pimblett isn't dumb, no matter how hard people try to frame him as a clown, because confidence like this doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from information, and that's what's messing with my head right now, because he's speaking like someone who's already walked through the fight in his mind and found something, a pattern, a weakness, a moment, and this can't be real unless it is. And that's where this gets uncomfortable.
I used to be there every day. I was definitely there, and I didn't heard all the rumors, but like everybody knows, I ain't gonna say shit.
Okay,
I know everything that happened.
But what was the vibe?
I got on the Brazilians. I speak, enough Portuguese that I know exactly what happened from all the coaches there, and I know all the American coaches, so I knew everything.
Could you tell though that there was something there? Yeah. Could you tell there was something there though? Could you tell that this was inevitable?
Of course, yeah. Especially with chicks in the gym, and she'll tell you they're very territorial, maybe more than dudes. They're very catty too. They don't like certain cliques, so they're like, it's war every time. The few times the guys will stop and watch sparring is when it's like two girls that got it out for each other because they're going like it's a fight. And it's like
everyone keeps yelling about Gaethje's power like it exists in a vacuum, like this is a video game stat that never depletes, but power changes when pressure changes. And Paddy's entire style is pressure, messy pressure, ugly pressure, the kind that doesn't look technical until suddenly you're breathing through your mouth and backing up. And I keep hearing that Gaethje's takedown defense numbers are not what fans think they are, and that stat drop hasn't hit yet.
There. I also get how Justin Gaethje got here. Yeah, he was just 2 fights ago, face down on the canvas at UFC 300 in what will live forever as one of the greatest knockouts of all time. I get it. I saw it. My live reaction to that was like, oh my God. But you know what you get with Justin Gaethje? You get a kid who shows up, throws down. He's an exciting guy. He will get in your face. He will punch. He's not going to play some boring bullshit. He will fight. So the UFC was met with a challenge. Their champion's getting a divorce, so he stepped away. And now they need to either hold up the entire division or put together a freaking fight for the boys. So they put together a fight for the boys, and this is what they came up with, and I don't hate it.
Joe Rogan didn't just react because this is exciting. He reacted because this fight forces a question nobody wants answered, which is what happens when violence meets momentum at the wrong time. Because momentum doesn't care about belts or respect, and Paddy is riding something dangerous right now, something psychological, something that makes fighters do stupid things, and there's already concern that Gaethje might try to prove something instead of win clean, and that's terrifying.
He has no problem moving forward, swinging wild. Paddy Pimblett, a big, strong grappler. Paddy's listed as a smaller person here. He will look bigger in the cage, and I think he is bigger. He's 5'10", Justin Gaethje's 5'11". I don't believe those numbers. Paddy Pimblett is big as shit for this weight class. And when he uses that size and he comes forward, he drags it to the ground, he has a lot of success. On the ground, he's a very slick grappler with incredible.
Listen carefully to how this is being framed behind the scenes, because you can hear the shift. First, it was Paddy doesn't belong. Then it became this is a test. Now it's well styles make fights. And that evolution tells you everything, because that's the sound of expectations lowering in real time. And if Paddy wins, there will be excuses queued up instantly. Age, mileage, timing, anything but the truth. And that truth might blow up the division overnight.
He's a dying breed of savage in the UFC, but I don't think he wins here. He was a collegiate wrestler, but he doesn't wrestle. And while I wouldn't want him wrestling in this matchup, I think the problem is he's going to need to defend some takedowns, and those aren't great either. He just got taken down by Rafael Fiziev. Paddy is absolutely tremendous. His takedowns aren't great, but his size, the scouser chin, and the forward pressure might be enough to actually win a title. I am gonna pick Paddy here. I hate how high his chin is in fights. When you're in boxing class, they teach you, a lot of them will put a tennis ball under your chin. You keep the tennis ball there, right? You bounce on your toes, they slide paper under your heels. Make sure you're on your toes. You could put a volleyball under Paddy Pimblett's chin. Fuck a tennis ball, you could put a volleyball. His head is straight up in the air, and somebody like Justin, who has no problem walking through fire and bombing away, that could be a problem. But Paddy has been very vocal. I am not dumb enough to get knocked out by Justin Gaethje. So
what scares me most is how calm Paddy sounds when he talks about danger, because that's not bravado, that's acceptance. And fighters who accept chaos don't panic inside it. And Gaethje thrives on panic, not patience. And I keep circling back to one quiet detail nobody's debating yet, which is how this fight looks if it goes long. Because nobody wants to say it, but the longer this drags, the worse it gets for someone.
Hey, I got to ask, with the striking, how do you rate his striking? Because Paddy's going to be, he's known for sort of pushing the action, which makes this a really exciting fight. Do you believe against yourself he'll still be as aggressive, or do you think he's going to be trying to look to get this to the ground as quickly as possible?
Well, no, I mean, I think he's going to have to, I mean, obviously, I think he's going to fight smart. I think he's going to fight a smart fight. I think he fought a smart fight versus Chandler. I think in the first round, he was very calculated. He wasn't necessarily over-aggressive, and I expect him to fight like that against me.
There's also this strange silence around what happens after, because usually the UFC is loud about next steps, title paths, eliminators, but here it's vague, almost cautious, like they're waiting to see which version of reality survives the night, and that tells me they know this fight could force a pivot they're not ready for. And I'm hearing that at least one contender is already lobbying based on a result that hasn't happened yet.
And yeah, I really got to control his feet, you know. When it comes to technique, he might not be there, but when it comes to like aggression and you know, tenacity, I mean, those are big variables when it comes to striking, and those are things that, you know, he does not lack in. And so I'm going to need to still his momentum and still the confidence, because that's why he is so effective right now.
People keep accusing Paddy of having bad striking, high chin, sloppy entries, and yeah, those flaws are real, but flaws don't matter if the other guy hesitates, and hesitation kills killers. And Gaethje has been knocked out before in moments where he thought pressure would save him. And I can't shake the feeling that someone close to this fight is betting on history repeating itself, not loudly, but confidently.
He's kind of like a bit of a momentum guy, right? He pushes forward, and some of the technique maybe isn't as flashy, but he's aggressive. And I guess he's got that kind of Dricus du Plessis thing about him and the RDR thing about him, where when he's in the octagon with people, maybe people underestimate his striking. But like, how would you rate what he does on the feet?
What I rate his striking, you know, probably like a 7 or an 8. I mean, he really throws a lot of power into his shots, and if you do get hit with those shots, like there's no doubt it's a problem. And you know, he's constantly moving forward, and that's a big part of this sport, and it really gets him into these clinch positions and, you know, into these takedown positions off of his strikes. And so I really got to create angles and run him into shots. You know, I've always said I create car crashes. I want to be the object that, you know, we're the same mass. I want to be the object that gets there first and has the most force, and that's by controlling his feet and running him into dangerous positions.
This is where Rogan's meltdown makes sense, because he's watched enough fights to recognize when energy shifts before the bell rings. And the energy around this matchup is wrong, heavy, like something's being dragged into the cage that shouldn't be there. And when that happens, it's rarely the favorite who survives. And I swear there's a reason Rogan keeps emphasizing timing instead of technique. And that reason isn't accidental.
Talk about Justin Gaethje. Obviously, we've seen his career for so many years. The man is a legend. I think 14 fights in the UFC. He did work before that as well. All his fights in the UFC, he's either taken a bonus or he's been fighting for a title. The guy, he's a special fighter, right?
Yeah, he's unbelievable, absolute legend of the sport, legend of the lightweight division. And it's an honour to get in the cage with him and fight him. But I feel bad saying it, because I've said it already. I think I'm going to retire him.
Is that where you think he is in his career? You think he's...
Yeah, I think he could be on the verge, on the precipice of retiring. He said himself he was going to retire if he didn't get a title shot. So when I beat him, he's not going to get another title shot, is he? So
you want chaos? Here it is. If Paddy wins this, the division doesn't just move forward, it fractures because suddenly hype becomes legitimacy, memes become marketing gold, and a new kind of contender forces veterans into impossible decisions. And if Gaethje loses here, it won't feel like a normal loss, it will feel final, like a door slamming shut while everyone pretends not to hear it.
What do you think it is that makes him special? What does he do that's different from others? What does he do that's elite?
He's got an elite right hand. You know what I mean? Of the way he plants that on people's chin. But he's just an absolute banger lad. He comes out and wants to have an entertaining fight every single time. He doesn't shy away from a firefight, and he loves a war. And I've never had a war in all my years of fighting, so I'm looking forward to one.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, of course. Always want one.
So you never had a war, you want to start it by doing it with Justin Gaethje?
Well, yeah.
Where's your head at, man?
It's firmly screwed on my shoulders, lad, but you know, people are laughing at me when I'm saying I'm going to stand with him, but I am. People think that I'm just going to shoot in the first 10 seconds. I'm not. I'm going to stand with him, and I'm going to put it on him, and people are going to be like, wow, we weren't lying. Like, he's more of a boxer with leg kicks, and I'm an MMA striker. I don't do just boxing or Thai boxing or kickboxing or taekwondo or karate. I'm an MMA striker, and you'll see that when I fight him.
And don't think for a second this ends fight night, because the aftermath might be worse than the bout itself, with interviews, excuses, narratives colliding, and one side possibly revealing something they held back until it was too late to stop the damage. And I'm telling you now, there's a conversation that hasn't happened yet that will change how this fight is remembered forever. So yeah, Rogan losing it isn't hype. It's a warning, because this situation is still moving, still mutating, still loading pressure. And by the time the cage door closes, we might already be past the point of no return. And if you think this is just another matchup, you're not paying attention, because something here feels off, unfinished, and ready to explode when nobody expects it.